think I finally got the intro stuff right for the first time.
Yes, I think you finally did.
Only when Joe's not here.
Which is good. Well, the intro you played, I like. Okay, some people don't like that one, but the new one would like that. Would like the traditional countdown takes like an actual 30 seconds, which is like awful.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you used that one. But folks, we are here finally to do the Divas deep dive.
Long awaited.
Covering essentially the first half of the 2010s WWE Divas division. There you go, Jaychele holding the Divas Championship title. The famous classic butterfly. So basically, this project starts Night of Champions 2010, and will roughly end, because I'm sure we'll make it all the way through. Basically, when Jaychele started watching, which was the night after WrestleMania 30, roughly.
Yes.
When AJ Lee lost to the debuting main roster Paige on the night after WrestleMania. So, let's see. The match was at Night of Champions 2010, Michelle McCool versus Melina.
Yep.
So, Michelle McCool was the co-women's champion with Layla L.
Yep, they had the belt split.
Yes, literally split, and it literally looks like a plastic toy championship belt. In fact, I think it was. I don't know if it was or not, but like
probably
they did a whole. So I remember that summer. I think they won a match together, or like.
I think it was a triple threat match. They just decided to take.
Right. I think it was a triple threat match. And so basically they just walked around splitting the belts. They were on SmackDown. Laycool was, and Melina was the WWE Divas champion on Monday Night Raw. And here we had right smack dab in the middle of the show was Michelle McCool versus Melina to unify the titles. I believe they were in Chicago at the Allstate Arena for this show. And I didn't realize it, but this was actually a Lumberjill match.
Yeah,
so it helps for our opening show to talk about the entire women's division very easily because they're all at ringside doing absolutely nothing. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. So let's see. Do you have all the Lumberjills up on the? I gotta pull up Cage Match.
Let me grab it.
Look how prepared I am, folks.
It's okay. Who really?
Nah, yeah, we're fine.
Judging us.
Fine. Today's been an exciting day for the Grand.
Yeah. I can see the match photos. We could just try to list. Oh.
Yeah, we could. We could.
That might be the easier.
Actually, I can pull up Wikipedia, but I can get a list there. And we are doing a production meeting live on the air, like usual.
Ay. They didn't do Night of Champions last year.
No, they didn't. I don't even remember what they did in September.
Saudi?
Oh, well, they do Clash of Champions now, which is the same thing. That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right, so the Lumberjills were as follows: Alicia Fox, Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki, Eve Torres, Gail Kim, Jillian Hall, Kelly, Layla, Maurice, Natalia, Rosa Mendez, and Tamina. So that was pretty much the landscape of the women's division at the time. I think it's pretty fair to say that Laycool was definitely the top of the division. How familiar are you with this era, Jaychele?
I'm pretty familiar. When I first started watching wrestling, I would just go back and watch a bunch of like 2010s Diva stuff regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved a lot of what Cool was doing. I think that Michelle was actually probably one of my favorite workers during the era.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of didn't really watch more than this. Like, I didn't really fill in the gaps between like 2010,
Mm-hmm.
2014 ish. Because that's when like Rosa Mendez and Tamina were like the young people in the division. And I didn't really like that too much. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, at the time, I think Tamina was still a manager for the Usos.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Because she came in. I remember she came in that summer because she debuted with Jimmy and Jay.
Hmm.
Um, as I was going into my senior year of high school. Uh, um,
How
she,
symbolic.
um, she debuted with them, and I think they feuded with the Hart Dynasty, if I'm not mistaken. Natalia and the Hart Dynasty.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds right.
they did this a lot back then. They would do like they would women would sort of be like half valets, half wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like,
Maurice was with Ted DiBiase.
yeah, yeah, she was. Oksana was with Goldust.
Yep.
Of course, there's tons of people on the NXT show, and we'll cover that, including AJ and Naomi. Well, I'm certain we'll be watching some AJ Lee matches, which I will thoroughly enjoy just as much as Jaychele.
We're going to get some Caitlyn in there too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I was actually a bigger Caitlyn fan than AJ for a while, so.
Fair.
Let's see. So let's talk about the match a little bit. Michelle McCool versus Melina. Like I said, it was smack dab in the middle of the show. The main things I noticed about this, which are unfortunate, but it's the reality of this project.
Pop huge. I can't. Sorry.
At first, I was like, "What is he talking about?" I was like, "What's wrong with my lighting?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, that terrible song." But so we've got comment JJ. Now you got me thinking of this stupid song stuck in my head now. The two things that I noticed, unfortunately, that just you can't ignore, and it's not even their fault. It's just, well, there's multiple things, but the two that came out immediately with the crowd didn't care.
Yep.
And the commentary was just, okay, look, commentary was terrible. And WWE's never had great commentary and probably hasn't had good commentary consistently in 15 and 20 years. But this was peak heel Michael Cole. And you had Matt Stryker and Jerry Lawler. So you had heel Michael Cole, whose whole gimmick was that he was an asshole, annoying troll, and was basically like every sort of worst habit you could possibly have. As like there's like this early 2010s, is like early social media troll. So like he was a total misogynist. So like the whole and then you had Matt Stryker, who's just like totally full of shit and like hams it up and says all kinds of stupid stuff, and he doesn't take the women's matches seriously. And of course, there's fucking the pervert Jerry Lawler. So
Jerry was bad for this show.
I'm not holding back here. I'm just being truthful. So the commentary was bad. The crowd, you can tell right away the difference that's happened in the last 12 years because other than some of the big spots, which we'll talk a little bit about the match more in depth, but they worked fairly hard for the time they were given. It's just the crowd just doesn't. They weren't really given an opportunity or the storylines to really let them care. Cool was starting to get pretty over at the time, and by the end of the year, once they feud with the what was Beth and Natty's tag team called? We'll get to that at some point.
Something domination.
Divas of Doom. Divas of Doom.
Yeah.
And once we get to that, uh, things start to pick up, and Layla actually becomes a pretty hot act, and they get a lot of TV time and stuff on SmackDown. And this was kind of right around the period where they were starting to build that up. They of course, Vicky sort of being their sort of authority figure, manager, friend, or whatever, helped them get over a lot too. They ended up getting WrestleMania match with Snooki and stuff, and all that stuff went down. So I mean, they became a pretty hot act. Beth Phoenix had been around for a long time at this point. So she was pretty over, but there just weren't a lot of over women at the time. I mean, from what you've seen, Jaychele, what would you say that Layla were the most over women on the roster at the time?
Yeah, I would say they were up there. I feel like the Bellas came a little bit after this, but I feel like another person who was probably really over was Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because of.
Can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah.
Who was paying attention?
Yeah, that's true. Although I legitimately do think those Beth Phoenix matches are good in 2011. So and I think Kelly's a good babyface, but there was obviously the sex appeal was largely the reason why she was pushed. But she did work very hard.
She was over in the Royal Rumble this year.
Good. I thought she's looked good in Rumbles since she's come back. Let's see. So talk about the match a little bit. What do you think about the match, Michelle McCool and Melina?
Yeah, I actually think the match was stronger than I was expecting it to be honest. Melina, I've always been a pretty big fan of her, but I didn't always think she was like a super worker, which she wasn't here either, but they did pretty good with the time that they were given. It looked like there was one kind of botch where they basically fell off the top rope. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but that's what happened. But then from there, I think the ending was a little bit confusing for me as well, how they just ended with a kick instead of, Michelle's faith breaker or whatever it was called. But yeah, Melina got her classic moves in. She did the split at the beginning and she pulled up the Matrix backbend thing. And she didn't go for a lot of covers, which I thought was kind of weird, but I guess they were just trying to quicken the pace.
Yeah, they obviously, I think they had 6 minutes from like bell to bell.
Yep.
So they were obviously trying to get their stuff in. The Lumberjills were probably just there to get them a pay-per-view payday, and they were literally there to just sort of exist. There wasn't really any sort of. I also think it was probably booked in a way so that Layla could interfere, and it would. I mean, she would have interfered anyways if it was just a regular match. I thought I thought they worked pretty hard. There were a couple of nasty spills and big bumps outside of the ring, especially the one where like Melina did her like weird when she used to do it all the time. I remember when she gets pushed over and she would like dangle her feet a little bit before she fell over.
Yeah,
that always looked rough. I seem to remember there was a tumble outside where they both went out of the ring at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was they did some neat things. It's just I think you're totally right. They were never really able to have a true body in the match. There was one point where they were able to kind of slip in a hold. So I mean, it was fine. But I wouldn't. There's a reason that match was forgotten about largely because they don't give them time, and it's just the whole presentation was just really weak at that time. And it's weird because when I started watching in the Attitude Era, I mean, women were actually very popular, but it was for not to do anything at all in the ring.
Yeah.
Then Ruthless Aggression happened, and Trish and Lita and Mickey and all, and they actually started to care more about the in-ring stuff for a while. Not, nothing crazy, but they would get 10-minute matches on pay-per-view almost every month. And, they'd get 5, 6, 7-minute matches on TV. Well, once they went to PG, they actually regressed, and totally just abandoned them like entirely. Like, I mean, they were giving them like 2-minute matches, and like it was it. This was like right in that peak period where they were completely abandoned, and
Yeah.
I think McCool helped some because they they got over enough, but it's just this is a rough period. This is honestly the period we're covering, folks, is honestly probably the most dire period in WWE women's wrestling, in terms of like just relevancy and presentation and push and all that stuff. Would you agree with that, Jaychele?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think we were still near the time where they were still kind of doing Diva Search.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel like that might have contributed to a lot of the, we don't really need to care too much. These people come from being models, so we don't really need to do too much with them in ring. Um, which is obviously a methodology that was continued from the ruthless aggression era and everything like that, and even before that. So I think moving forward, it did take some more of the stronger workers, people who had trained to be wrestlers and made it into the WWE as wrestlers, that rather than people who came from like the fitness industry and then became wrestlers.
Right.
So I think that was what kind of hopefully changed the tides. But then also there's people like Rosa Mendez who threw a forearm in the Lumberjill section and then just stopped in the middle of it, and I was so confused. She was like, and then she just pulled back. And I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, there's just some. Rosa was never was able to figure it out. Had a fun gimmick on Total Divas, but not necessarily someone who figured it out in the ring.
Marie.
Good question here by Joe. Yes, I think that had a lot to do with it. Because I don't remember when Johnny Ace was like. I'm not entirely sure about the accuracy of when he started as the head of talent relations and when he stopped or whatever. Because I know he's back basically in a similar role now. And you can see that on the screens when we're watching NXT 2.0. Exactly. Right. I mean, it's pretty clear with some of the talent
Who's their
and stuff.
champion?
Mandy Rose. But yeah, I mean,
Natty's back.
I oh god, I actually like that angle. Like even though I'm not a Natty fan, I actually thought the angle was well done. Although the part where Natty was just like had like resting Natty face while she was in the sharpshooter was weird. But
she did it in very expensive boots, so
yeah. So yeah, this was. I never really thought about that, but there really was a regression from ruthless aggression era to this era. How much ruthless aggression era have you seen?
I'd say like a fourth.
Okay,
But
yeah.
like bits
So
and
like,
pieces, nothing consistent.
got you. So like the famous Trish Mickey matches, Trish Lita matches.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Have you ever seen any of the Trish Victoria matches?
I feel like I've seen like
Those brutal, the
highlights.
hardcore matches.
Yeah,
Hardcore
I've seen
matches are good.
highlights.
Yeah. Molly Holly matches are pretty good too. Molly and Trish.
I watched a Molly Holly match to see what the Molly go round was that Becky Lynch was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Did I told you about that, the botch thing where she
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what happened there with Becky and Bianca. I mean, it was obviously an accident. You could see Becky's face when she kicked her. She was like, "Oh no." I can't tell if Bianca was too close or if too far away or if Becky over rotated or what. But
yeah, or if she went too fast.
But let's see. Let's go through the Lumberjills here, Jaychele, and talk about just kind of talk about each of them individually a little bit, and by memory, and where they were, and what we think about them as workers and characters and whatnot.
Yep.
Let's start with Alicia Fox. Thoughts?
I actually liked Alicia a lot. She was the first African American Divas champion. So I kind of always stuck with Alicia whenever I was watching the era. Obviously, it's no news to anybody. I enjoy representation in wrestling. I'm a black woman. Sorry. Um, but I think Alicia gets a lot of slack recently. But I feel like a lot of her work stands up more than some of the other divas, I would say. Um, yeah, I thought she was always interesting. I thought the moves that she brought to the table were kind of reminiscent of how a Naomi would work. I think she would kind of work as a Naomi would now. But yeah.
Yeah. I get myself in trouble when I say this, but I think a lot of the criticisms for Alicia Fox are, one's obvious because she's black, and two, the alcoholism. People tend to attack people for that, and
Yep.
that's not fair. People go through problems all the time, so I'm pulling no punches here. I think people have been way too harsh on her for multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a big. I actually liked her a lot, especially in the last few years of her run. She always had like. She really got down the technique of some of her offense. Like I really liked her scissors kick. Sometimes it would look sloppy, but I didn't care because it popped me. And sometimes it looked great, like it looked smooth. She had the best Northern Light suplex of anybody in wrestling for like men, women, anybody. She always plugged in her few big offensive spots. She figured out character work really well. She was always pretty good as a character.
Yeah. The crazy stuff worked for me. She was doing the
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
before AJ was even doing the crazy.
Hmm.
So
I liked the. She had Paige's first feud
hmm
after when AJ went and married Punk. She had Paige's first feud, and I remember liking a few of their matches on TV. Um, she had a fun feud with Sasha Banks that I liked. Um,
what
when
did you think
when
of
she
her
was
in
with
the Bella, like the Team Bella thing?
yeah, yeah. There were definitely some good tags in that togs, but but yeah, I've always been a fan. Um, like I said, especially in the like, really, I think it was the Paige feud that kind of made me turn a corner on her.
Mm-hmm.
Because before she was, but that when Paige came in, that changed a lot of things,
Yeah.
for the better. But she's probably one of the better people in this group, I would say. Brie Bella.
Don't get me in trouble.
Oh, that's okay.
Actually, I have a thing to show about Brie Bella. Hold on. Let me do this correctly. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
This is me doing the Brie mode
Oh my
pose
gosh.
in my 5th grade dance. Uh, I loved Brie mode. I loved Brie
Hold
Bella.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Hold on just a second. Wait just a second. Your 5th grade dance. Well, Total Divas debuted in the summer of 2013 when I was about to start my junior year of college. Brie mode was like a thing when I was like 22 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. That was when we were drinking alcohol. I love that. I used to love Total Divas. Was I old enough for it? Hell no. Was I watching it anyway?
Shit
Hell
was
yeah.
funny. That show fucking rules, especially when like Danielson would say some fucking weird shit,
Yeah.
and it would like be a total fucking douchebag. It ruled.
Yeah.
Um,
I
or
didn't
like
give
when
actual thought.
or the great Natty Summer Rae feud. That was amazing. Um, yeah, Brie sucks.
Yeah, she's not good.
She's not good in the ring. I remember when they had the
Stephanie feud.
Do you remember the Charlotte title match she had right before WrestleMania 32 at Fastlane? Like
Oh, yep, Fastlane. Yep.
It was a few weeks after Brian retired.
Yeah.
And retired. And boy, was that match bad. Like
she feuded with Stephanie McMahon. Don't.
What, the Stephanie feud?
That was not for me. Mm-mm.
You know what? I actually liked that feud at the time. After when like the stuff when Nikki Turn was like
that dude
terrible, like the Jerry Springer segment. Oh god, that was bad. But I loved the segment where Stephanie got arrested just because Stephanie played it so well.
One of my favorite Brie feuds actually is when she feuded with Maurice and Miz when she was with Brian. I like when they put couples together.
Yes, that feud actually was excellent. That was a great feud, actually. Oh, I forgot about that. That was a Springer segment, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god. The Bella twins were my jam though. When I first started watching wrestling, like when AJ went away, I was a Bella twins girl.
The Bellas were a pretty big deal once 2013 kicked in because they you could tell they were already pushing them because they had Total Divas, like they were taping it. And then they got the WrestleMania match scrapped, which they taped for Total Divas.
Yep.
And they got it scrapped. And Cody was supposed to be in that match.
Yeah. It was Cody and Damien Sandow versus the Funkadactyls. Do you know who was a part of the Funkadactyls and now holds an NWA championship?
Seriously? Cameron won the title?
Oh, well, what was it called?
You're talking about Boris Clay.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. Oh.
No, Cameron doesn't really wrestle much anymore. She just signed.
Yeah, she was at the Rumble, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
Yeah, that's right.
She did like boy bye, or what is it? She says girl bye.
Yeah,
girl bye.
Yeah,
and then she does the thing where she goes with like. I'm not 18. I can't legally.
We should get Bob to do that on the Grand.
Oh, we should. Oh, we definitely should.
Let's see.
So like Luchasaurus.
Oh God. Eve Torres.
I like Eve.
Okay.
I actually like Eve a lot.
So I believe she was a Total Divas winner. Was that or not? Not a Total.
Diva
I'm
Search.
sorry. Diva Search winner. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. She won the Diva Search. She was the last Diva Search winner, or was there somebody after her? Because remember they started doing them online or whatever.
Yeah.
They weren't doing it on TV anymore. Because I remember they announced her just suddenly, like, your new Diva winner, Eve Torres, and I was like, what the hell? Because, but her push comes later. Eve, I actually do like Eve too. I think she was a strong character. She was like, they did a deal where she kind of got hot kind of as a baby face. Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh God. The first one.
Shockingly, I did not remember her twerking.
The first I saw was Miley Cyrus. Do you remember when Miley Cyrus twerked Oracle?
Oh God, yes.
with the Bears at the MTV Awards on Robin Thicke, remember?
Yes.
And to be honest, she never really twerked. All she did was pop her back.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she did. The whole that wasn't really a twerk.
We're talking about twerking on the late night.
That was before her moonsault, right? She had like a moonsault, or was she? Okay,
it was a moonsault thing. It was a standing moonsault.
Yeah, right. Her push comes in 2012, and we'll get to that in 6.5 years when we get to that point. But
Jaychele's graduated college in the workforce.
She gets pushed because she's like Teddy Long's manager or whatever, or like she's like Teddy Long's assistant or whatever, and then she's dating Zack Ryder, and then she turns heel and then becomes like this.
Do you remember who else she dated? John Cena.
Oh, that's right. Well, Zack Ryder was like a storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, she was with Eve. Was she with Crime Time
Yes.
for a while? That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. She was Crime Time's manager. She started out. I think that's kind of what she started out as. Um, and then she's not really doing much during this period. I don't think. She's just kind of floundering, like about 50% of these women are, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is my thing.
Um,
I think Eve helped Rhonda train. I know she helped train somebody with Natty, and it was on Total Divas. I just don't remember exactly who it was, but I think it was Rhonda.
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a. I can't really remember who it was, but there was like a taping where Eve and Natty worked together to help train somebody, but I'm
She
not
was
sure.
she's been on a few like network panels on like pre-shows and stuff, hasn't she?
Maybe.
I just laughed something on the
Oh
comments.
God.
Sorry. Uh, uh, um.
Is it the you're a twerk expert?
Yes.
Where is
But
it? Here it is.
let's see. Okay, here's a big one. Gail Kim.
Oh my God. Honestly, I didn't even really like Gail Kim until she got to TNA.
Mhm.
Like, because I watched some of her stuff in TNA, like when I first started watching wrestling as well. Like, I people always pop when I say this, but I used to fucking love Aces and Eights, so I would watch like Gail Kim stuff. Um, I love Gail and what is it? Brooke Testmaker. What was her name?
Mhm.
I loved
Yeah.
her. Never mind. But I wasn't too huge of a fan of Gail in WWE because she didn't really get to do too much here. So it was like I couldn't really get super invested.
You know the famous story of her leaving, right?
Didn't she like roll out of a battle royal or
Yeah, she
something?
just rolled out of Battle Royal and left.
Yeah.
There's like this was the lowest point in women's division's history though, because she had a crazy leave. Now Melina, she had her own personal faults, but she was Melina was one who threatened to come in and like crash a show or something. Did you ever read that story?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's not who Melina is now. I don't think though.
No, I don't think so.
You know
But
she's
yeah,
an
she.
NWA girl.
What's that?
She's in the NWA.
Oh yeah. She was in the Rumble with the Sasha spot too.
Yeah. You think she got
Um,
eliminated early from that? I think she did. I think she fell.
I think she fell too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Sorry. Random.
but Gail Kim. So I remember when she debuted in WWE way back in 2003. I remember the Raw because like there's this thing called VHS. Jaychele,
I know what that
you may have
is.
heard of it. I'm teasing. I'm being a troll. Um, but so we had like we taped over Raw. It was the Madison Square Garden Raw, I think, where Kane unmasked. Oh no, it was the week after. It was the week after Kane unmasked. It was the week after Kane unmasked, and it was a June 30th, 2003 Raw, and she debuted in a Battle Royal, and she won the women's title on her debut in Battle Royal. And
I love
I
her
was a
move.
fan of Gail
Eat the
Kim when I was a
feet.
I was a fan of Gail when I was a kid because she looked cool because she had the Matrix look because like
Mhm.
Matrix like the second and third Matrix came out in the same year.
I've
So
never
like
seen those movies, but I know what
um
they are.
so like she had like the glasses and like the cape and stuff. It was she had a cool look. Yes.
Can I make you feel old for a second?
Yes.
Okay. So I played this game with my boyfriend today at the park called like categories or 5 second rule, and you have 5 seconds to name three of these things. It was like 5 seconds to name three James Bond movies. Guess what I said?
What?
Men in Black 1, 2, and
Oh
3.
no. Oh no. Oh, you want to talk about how old I am? I remember watching the first Men in Black. I was very little, mind you, but I remember getting the first Men in Black from like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, something else that also doesn't exist that you probably barely remember, if at all.
I
Um,
didn't they sold to Netflix or something?
uh, Blockbuster. almost bought Netflix in like 2000.
Oh, yep. I knew it was something with Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's apparently a good documentary on Blockbuster on Netflix. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was good. Well, because it's based on the last Blockbuster that still existed, like in the state of Washington or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I watched the first Men in Black, late '90s. Probably I was 4 or 5 years old. I remember watching it and like singing the song and like jumping around and like watching it with my brothers when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So
Wow.
this was like '97, something like that. But Gail, yes, Gail was actually having good matches on Superstars at the time because I was like, I was already like a let's see how good these matches are, nerd by that by that point. By that point, so like,
That's can't say that. I'll get in trouble. We're not even behind a paywall right now. So
um, but you, if it's making fun of me, you can tell me in the private
oh
chat.
no no no
I'll
no
tell you.
no.
Okay. But yeah, you can feel comfortable to make fun of me. Uh, yeah. But
Especially last night.
yeah.
That's the hint you
Um,
guys will get.
but Gail was like having some really strong superstars matches on here, and I was actually scouring through like the match list on Cage Match for some matches that we're going to talk about that we're going to watch on our next show here. And there's some interesting ones that look decent with Gail on like superstars. There's one or two of them. Um, and I also discovered that there's like a 6-minute AJ Naomi match from NXT. I'm sure we'll be watching that.
I can put money that I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I watched everything NXT Divas. Oh my god.
Did you see the terrible promo? Well, it's funny,
Did you see
but
when
it's
AJ kissed somebody?
yes, I remember that. I won't lie. As shitty as it was, Michael Cole's heel promo when he stood up on the announce table and cut a promo on the one was unbelievably funny at the time, and it still actually is. But he so stupid. Those poor because remember they actually took him off Sci-Fi midway through the season and put him on WWE.com.
Mhm. Is this when they had the general manager that was like the computer too, or is this a little bit?
Yes, which is like,
Yeah.
and it ended up being Hornswoggle.
Yep.
That was a reveal at, like Raw 1000 or whatever.
Because that's how I thought that Michael Cole turned heel was he did the general manager thing and he was an asshole about it.
So Michael Cole turned heel essentially when Daniel Bryan debuted. That's when he became a heel.
Okay.
That's the start of NXT. Like suddenly, it was funny when that was literally his heel turn. Was I just snorted there? That was weird. He just so okay. All right. But so he turned heel because NXT debuted, I remember, on February 23rd, 2010. Yes, my memory is very good. And I'll never forget watching this stupid show. It debuts with "We Are Wild and Young," a terrible Wild and Young song. If anybody in the chat remembers, and so like, obviously Danielson was what. Sorry, that was my dryer. If you heard it, so obviously it's Bryan Danielson. So he comes in as Daniel Bryan, and he has a match with Jericho. He has this backstage promo with Matt Striker or whatever, and Michael Cole just starts going, well, we don't need these bingo hall nerds coming in here, and he's like suddenly turns heel. He was only heel on NXT,
Right.
and then he became like a huge Miz fan because Miz was Daniel Bryan's coach in NXT, and he started to be, and that's when, and then Miz won and then like he started to become a big Miz fan on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
Was like rooting for Miz and stuff, and then the Jerry Lawler feud happened, and so on and so forth. And then Jerry Lawler basically almost died on national television, and then Michael Cole ended up turning babyface. So, it was a rough 2 years of Heel Michael Cole. My God, I can't believe it lasted 2 fucking years, 2.5 years, really. So yeah, Gail. There should be some good Gail Kim matches that we're able to find over time. Jillian Hall. Thoughts on Jillian?
Pass.
The Britney Spears gimmick, I actually think was a good idea. Or like the bad like Britney, like singing, lip syncing or whatever, thing.
Yeah.
But well, it was really kind of like an American Idol gimmick, kind
Yeah.
of. That's
Yeah.
really what it was. But it was just bless her, Jillian couldn't work at all.
Was she there to work though?
Not at first. She was like, she debuted when I was a kid as like JBL's like assistant, and like Boogeyman ate a mole off her face. She had like a giant growth on her face, and they did an angle where Boogeyman ate the growth off her face. Yes, it was ridiculous. Yes, let me tell you what, your age, you're lucky for some of the shit you missed. But
I just did like the boogeyman.
yeah. Let's see. Kelly. Okay, we talked about Kelly a little bit earlier. Any thoughts on Kelly?
I liked Kelly. She was a little bit before my time when I started watching like live and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I always liked her gymnastics and stuff. I loved her in this year's Royal Rumble. I wish that they would bring her back for a spot, to be honest, at least like one match. Dude, I don't know what it is about her, but she's always gonna hit for me. Do you know what that means when something hits, Oracle?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta remember, my niece is 19 years old. She's only like a year and a half older than you, so I get I get some of the phrasing. So holla, well the girls are I can't remember what the lyrics
Oh my
were.
god, that is the song. Literally like 2 weeks ago, I was like, "Oh, we're about to do the Divas deep dive," and I was like, "Oh, Kelly." I was on the phone with my boyfriend. I just sang the Holla Holla song at least like 19 times in a row. It was hilarious.
Yeah, Kelly. So she debuted at like 19. And of course she was doing a striptease for like 2 years.
So she can do that, but I can't be in the baddie section where they say that people are confident and know to love themselves.
Yeah. I know, I get it. So the Oracle of Urban Dictionary. Okay.
Brian, please let us know in the chat what hits for you. Oh god.
Yes, Holla Holla was the Teddy Long quote as well. But so Kelly finally became a wrestler like really around this time, maybe the year before, maybe 09. And she was always super popular. And she really started to figure out how to work. Probably right around this time, she really started to kind of put things together. She was never perfect or anything like that, but she sold well enough. And hopefully we'll eventually get to that Beth Phoenix feud that I do like, which I think is in 2011 because I think she wins the title for the first time.
Do you remember when she was with Edge?
Yeah, so they
Disc
do
golf and
they do a program a few months from now in the winter of 2011, right at the start of 2011, so it's basically Edge is feuding with Ziggler and Vicky, and Vicky's kind of like the main heel woman at the time, and she's like teasing and
Vicky is
bullying.
the main heel woman. That's an issue.
Yep. Oh, that's a huge issue. That's because she's the main heel for, I mean, because as I mentioned earlier, she gets paired up with Laycool, to like she was the main heel forever, like 3 or 4 years. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it just went on and on and on. But yeah, so Edge and Kelly had like this like friendship thing, and because Vicky was Edge was feuding with Vicky, and then Drew McIntyre was involved with it because he was like, "I love Kelly," or
Oh, I
whatever,
remember that.
and like he was like a
Oh,
jerk to her or whatever, and yeah, so like there was all kinds of stuff for a couple months there.
see, sometimes
Um,
romance in wrestling can be fun and not make
yes,
you hate it.
yes, yes. Um, and then sometimes you have the Chuck Palumbo, Michelle McCool angle. So,
Sometimes there's Sammy and Ty.
yeah. Uh, are you familiar with the Chuck Palumbo, Michelle McCool angle? Not good.
Oh God.
I mean, when you want to, for some reason, they think it's a brilliant. The Ruthless Aggression era and Attitude era, they decided to book real life things, and they decided to book basically domestic spousal abuse angle. So that was great. Yes.
Oh my God.
Um,
You know how like did you ever see that the what's it called? Like the Edge and Lita sex celebration was available on YouTube for a while?
yeah. Was it?
Yeah, I found it a lot younger than I should have. That was not
Oh well.
good.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Um, God, I can't. That God, that was God. I was only 13 when that happened.
I was younger than 13 when I found it.
Jesus.
Hold
But oh, good Lord, that
on.
was a interesting period. Although the funniest part of that segment was when Flair interrupted, it was hilarious. Of course, that's probably way problematic now, in hindsight. But um, let's see, Layla, thoughts on Layla?
Layla was good. I kind of always preferred Michelle, to be honest. But
Mhm.
like now, as a more seasoned watcher, I think I prefer Layla. Um, I don't know. I think the character stuff worked more with Layla.
Yeah, I agree. I was a big Layla fan for more than one reason as a teenager. Um,
Oracle, what does that mean?
I had a big crush on her. Um, but yeah, she was a good character. Um, and I think Michelle was probably still a better worker than she was.
Oh yeah,
But I think the character work, um, she was stronger at than Michelle. Michelle just with her southern accent didn't always come
she
across
was a
as
teacher.
like authentic.
Yeah,
Where I think Layla really knew how to like I don't know really implement the character into the matches and stuff.
Layla,
Mm.
also Diva Search winner.
Yes, that's correct. 2006. Um, but yeah, I was a big fan of her because I obviously had a crush on her. But I mean, she was
Mhm.
she was she was a decent worker. She had after Lay Cool broke up, she tore ACL and like Michelle retired because I think Layla won the feud because they broke up and then Layla won the feud
Mhm.
and then she was like pushed as like a top baby face in the women's division and then Kelly kind of took over for her when Layla tore her knee up and Layla came back and I think beat Beth Phoenix in a feud in 2012 and was a top babyface for a while. Which I think she was pretty good at, for about 6 to 9 months. She had a feud with Eve for the title.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, she was a fun character. She also debuted in the oh god, what was it? What was the stupid trio? What was the group they called her, Kelly, and Brooke Tessmacher?
Oh God.
What was it? The striptease group. I can't remember what the hell it was called. Yeah, I know. again, be glad for your age, because some of the shit was just ridiculous. Um, let's see, Maurice.
Loved her. Still love her. Maurice is one of my favorite female wrestlers. Even now.
She's so good as a character. Like, even though her work was never, although I think she's underrated in the ring.
You
I
see her
like,
Hurricane on Edge?
yeah, yeah, that match was fun.
Yeah.
She's just so good as a character. Like, I think she has a full package as a character. She's especially great as a heel.
Yeah.
Um,
We're not even gonna address it.
I know. But yeah, she. I remember she had a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match in 2010.
Why is somebody telling me to Google the lyrics to her song?
Okay.
Do you know what the lyrics of her song say?
Ooh wee. Ooh wee. I don't know.
Oracle, you sang multiple songs today.
Yes. So Maurice, I believe, was in the same Diva Search as Layla, if I'm not mistaken. Or no,
Mhm.
no, she was she was in the previous one. She was like in the Diva Search in like 05. I think
Why? Why? Why are you so beautiful? Why are you moving like this? Why are you hurting me? I'm feeling naked. Oh,
wow.
yes. Why are you doing this? Why are you telling all this? Why are you hurting me? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, it's going to get worse, Oracle. Are you ready? Please be near me. I need you. I want to be inside you. Oh, yes. I need to be inside you. Oh, yes.
Okay. We'll pretend
If
that
you
never was
clip that,
uttered.
if you clip that, I'm suing you. I'm 17.
Yeah. Please don't. Well, that now I don't feel so bad about admitting my crush with Layla after those lyrics. But
This is not. Somebody requested it in the comments. Blame it on the people in the comments.
yeah. Um, but yes, Maurice was an awesome character. She had a spot in the 2010 Money in the Bank, one of the Money in the Bank ladder matches on that show, where she, when she was managing Marie or Ted DiBiase, where she climbed up the ladder and took off her heels and was like climbing up the ladder. It was a fun spot. And then John Morrison like awkwardly was like, "Get down from there." Have you ever seen this? It's so funny. Like
Yeah.
he literally comes up that's literally what he says, like Morrison's voice or whatever. He goes up and looks at her and goes, "You get down from there." It was like the
I think we
lamest thing
should
ever.
re-review the Maurice song tomorrow on the Grin when we're behind a paywall and late at night. We'll ask Bob for his thoughts.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, my favorite, Natalia.
Natty then, not good. Natty now, not good.
She great character on Total Divas, legitimately.
Oh yeah, when she's like her real life person, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I don't even have the thingies anymore.
The boat.
Oh no.
You sneaky bitch.
Ugh. No. She's just so grating, just like everything about her, just like, yeah, when she does that shit in the, oh God, I hate that.
Don't you love her entrance song?
Dun, 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 dun. I'll never forget when, you probably remember this, when she beat Naomi for the SmackDown Women's title at SummerSlam. The match was good. It was just like, what the hell? They fucking gave
Then
about the nag?
she feuded with fucking Nikki Bella over the belt.
I don't think they feuded for the belt. I think they feuded before, for sure.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure they feuded before.
That makes
Because
more sense.
I think that was like a Total Divas thing that they just decided to make
Oh
a
yeah,
feud on
maybe.
TV. Yeah. No. Instead, she feuded with, and I know you're a fan of her, Charlotte Flair. Wonderful.
Did they
But
do the generational thing?
they did that at like NXT. Are you talking about with Natty and Charlotte?
Yeah.
They did it where like
I remember it in NXT. I don't know if I.
Brett was in at NXT. They did the deal where Brett and Flair
Yeah.
were your managers for the night or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the shouting is just horrendous. It's the worst part.
You like Liv?
And like, have you noticed like how long it takes her to like set up her spots and shit? Like she has to do a little like.
I think it's so interesting that she trains wrestlers. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, yeah.
She trains Liv. I like Liv. Liv is good.
That's true. I do like Liv as well.
Didn't she train a wrestler that got signed to the Performance Center too or something?
Did she?
I think so. Somebody out of her dungeon. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure. I might be crazy though. Or they were at least at a tryout.
Nikki Bella.
Love her. Even now. I'm excited for her to get married. I love her child. I wish she came back with the long hair though. I'm happy she can wrestle though. You know, that's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm. The neck, yeah.
Yep. She got very lucky with that. I still hope they do a new Bella's run with the tag titles. I feel like they at least need them once. They were so deserving, and it should have been invented or created when they were in the company. But Nikki always got the character stuff down, even when she was a heel and she was holding that belt longer than AJ just to be spiteful. I feel like she still made it at least bearable. It was like a reign of terror, like Mandy's having, kind of, sorta, but you know, she made it work better, I think.
It wasn't that bad. It didn't bother me. I became more of a fan of her over the last few years when she's kind of been semi-retired.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a good worker. I think she puts in the effort. Like people just trash her because, typical Total Divas. I'm a closeted misogynist. But like
Love it.
The reality is, I mean, she's she's not perfect or anything, but she's a good wrestler. She knows how to work. She knows how to put the match together. Like the Charlotte match was really good. That Ronda match was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's really really good. She looked good in the Rumble this year. I'm with you. I hope she comes back. Brie can tag along too, sure. But but Nikki,
God.
yeah, I'm definitely a big fan.
What was her finish? The rack attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what was that move messed her neck up though, I think.
What do you think about the Twin Magic stuff they did? Because they kind of did it before the Usos, kind of, sort of. I feel like
The Twin Magic stuff was what kind of got them on the map in terms of like actually being used.
Mm-hmm.
So they started it late 2008 when they were on SmackDown, back when the titles were still split.
Mm-hmm.
And they started doing that, and I think because they were feuding. I think they were feuding with Michelle in the fall of 2008, and they were doing Twin Magic. I think they were heels, and Michelle was having to kind of like trying to counter that with kind of like it was almost like a handicap feud in some ways. But yeah, the Twin Magic was, I actually liked it because it was especially when they wear like the pairing outfits, because back
Yep.
like you could not tell sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a pretty effective spot that they did.
Did the Bellas get released? I don't know.
What? No, I don't think so. Oh, yes, they did. That's actually correct, JJ. I think that is true. I think that's right. I believe they left. Well, I believe they either they got released or they left to try out Hollywood, I think, and it didn't work out, and they came back. Because if I remember correctly, they left in like 2011 for like they left for a year. They were either released or they left on their own, and they came back a year later, and then Total Divas ramped up, and then they got became big from that. Our favorite, Rosa Mendez, thoughts?
My line of thinking is she's probably better than Oksana. So props to her for that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. To be fair and be somewhat serious for me, I think she's someone else who's kind of struggled with alcohol and stuff like that. So hopefully she's doing well. I honestly think that probably had somewhat to do with her struggles. When she, I mean, obviously they kind of gimmicked it up on Total Divas, but there was obviously issues there. That kind of distracted her from ever really putting in the effort. But she also came in at a bad time.
The Bella Twins were fired in 2012, by the way.
Okay, fired in 2012. Okay, yeah, and then they came back a year later. Okay, yep, that's what I thought. But yeah, Rosa just couldn't figure it out. Just couldn't figure it out. Not any good. Yeah, that's the truth. Unfortunately, Tamina, the last one here, Tamina.
Tamina was never good for me. Good for her for having like longevity. Same for Natty. Like good for them. They're making lots of money, but like still.
Tamina.
She's getting married.
Is she?
Not really. Kayfabe.
Akira
Tozawa.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that shit. Oh yeah, they did that shit on Raw. She could throw a decent super kick at times, but let me tell you, and I don't want to be mean, but you know what? She's one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen. And here's why. I think she's better than a Rosa Mendez or an Oksana or something. But Tamina's been on for 12 years and she's been getting 10-minute matches, and I'm like, she's awful. And every time they do a fucking Money in the Bank women's ladder match, they got to have Tamina or Natalya be the person to direct traffic and be the veteran in the match. Whose bright idea was that?
You think Tamina's the ring general?
Well, somebody produces it for her to be the ring general. And what I mean by that is she's the one over there calling spots and setting stuff up, and like, why? She sucks.
Who's better, her or Mandy Rose?
Mandy's probably better than Tamina in the ring. Not by much, but she probably is. Supervised sploosh. Wow. So now that we've covered everybody in the division, except for Michelle, McCool, and Melina, which we should probably cover real quick. Michelle?
Oh. Love Michelle. Michelle was great. Star of the division. I feel like she was before her time, and she would have some great matches with like a Sasha, Charlotte, Bailey even. She would have been able to kill it.
Yeah, I agree. Michelle was very good. Did you ever see those Gail Kim matches from 2009?
Mm-mm.
They're good.
I'll put them down.
She's always been one of the better women in that period. Yeah, she's excellent. I think she's probably a top 3 women from that whole period. Her, Beth, and maybe. I mean, Gail's really good in the ring. She wasn't really given the. I mean, it might be Layla, honestly, just for just the push and character work. Let's see. Melina.
Melina, I feel like I was stronger on her character, and now I feel like she's a stronger worker looking back. Um, I always loved the paparazzi stuff and the split. I think her presentation always worked really well. Yeah, Melina was a star for me.
She was a great character in ballet for Morrison and Joey Mercury. Eminem was a great act. That whole act was great. She was always a fun character. She had like a fun, like the first ever Survivor Series in 2005. Bless you.
Thank you.
First ever Survivor Series ever did in 2005. Well, the first brand feud that they did in Survivor Series. They did this fun Trish and Melina feud, where like Melina and Eminem kidnapped Trish, and like you may have seen clips of it before, but they had a fun match on the show too. So yeah, I've always thought Melina was good as a character. She got better as a worker. Her injuries just and she did have some attitude issues at the time. Her injuries racked up. She had some bad knee injuries. But yeah, she's just I think she's probably a smarter worker now. Just from being a veteran. She took some rough spills back. I mean, just in the match that we talked about today, she took some big bumps. Couple ladies that are going to show up that we'll go ahead and talk about before we talk about the next matches we'll watch. Beth Phoenix.
I actually liked Beth a lot during this time. I felt like she was like the powerhouse wrestler in every women's division. Normally will have a powerhouse, and I think Beth was one of the better female powerhouses in like women's wrestling history. I think even now she still is. Even if you put her up against the main roster. But yeah, I liked Beth a lot. I liked her style. Very, very strong worker.
Yeah, I agree. I was always a fan of Beth. Even like she had like the weird debut in like 06 where she was involved in the Mickey and Trish feud and she broke her jaw or whatever. Or something like that.
She was supposed to be Brock Lesnar's sister.
What's that?
Did you see the tweet she put out? Their first pitch was for her to be brought in as Brock Lesnar's sister.
Oh wow. I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
But she had like this. They basically booked her super strong, and she was like getting video packages and like long matches, and like this was the last year with this aggression, and she was like this dominant Divas, or it was still the women's champion at the time, and she got paired up with Santino, which was actually a fun act, like a really fun act, and
she was the first woman to eliminate somebody in the Royal Rumble.
Ali, yep. The 2010 Rumble, I believe.
Big brain.
She had some like pretty decent little matches with Candice Michelle, who was not very good at all, but Beth was quite good. Yeah, you can tell how good Beth was because she was having like these watchable matches with people like Candice and stuff at the time.
Oh, Candice.
Yeah. And
now she's Auntie Beth.
Yeah. And I would not be shocked if she was like Edge's evil sidekick wife or whatever. Well, you don't want to see that either.
I don't watch that Edge stuff. I turned that off.
Oh, it was so bad. Did the Priest match just ended? They just like Damian Priest, yeah. So like Priest and Styles had a match, and like the lights went out, and like they turned purple, and like Priest made a face, and like the match stopped, and it just went to a no contest. Made no sense.
Did they do the Rhea stuff yet?
No. Hopefully they don't ever do that.
Oh, you know that's coming.
Stop.
Oh my god! Can we show this to Joe?
No, please no.
Chris, come comment that tomorrow on the late night grind for me.
Last one we'll talk about here before we talk about the next few matches we're gonna watch on our next show. Mickie James.
Mickey was in the Layla feud, the McCool feud, where they did the oink oink piggy, right?
Yes, the Mickie James feud.
I remember that. I mainly remember that because of the Alexa Naya stuff that they did. They kind of mimicked that and did the same thing with Mickie James. Mickie James always been in a tough position when it comes to the booking. Obviously, a veteran of the division. I love Mickie. Even now, I love Mickie. Oh my God, Mickey's a star.
Yeah, Mickey's really, really good. I've always liked Mickie. She was one of like, people sort of forget that she was wrestling in the indies consistently, had a run in TNA, and all that stuff.
Alexis something.
Alexis Lurie. Yep.
There you go.
And
she had a good match with Alley Catch.
Well, but the Trish feud is
that wasn't to you, Oracle. Of course, it was to the chat because the chat hates when I talk about GCW. So I'm going to talk about it.
The Mickie Trish feud was great, classic feud. Mickie had like a good feud with Melina that was really good. I mean, she had tons of good feuds and stuff. The Layla feud is fun.
Oh, she also did this.
Tasha's the champion, and I don't know what to do.
My favorite is the pause, and then like the like the and then you like scream again.
Yeah.
You know what I realized? I realized how fat my head is. Like I was over here, like when you were talking about Mickie James, and I like did that for a second, and I'm like, man, I look like the fucking Pillsbury Doughboy. Anyways, so we're gonna do a production meeting live on the air to wrap up. This show went way longer than I thought, but that's okay because give our great grinners a little bit extra time to enjoy. Mostly because I ramble and don't shut the fuck up, but that's fine, I guess. Jaychele, you're more than welcome to tell me to fuck off and shut up.
Oh no, I think it's funny.
Like in this podcast.
It's great.
Let's see. So I had all this stuff on Cage Match, and now I'm not looking at it anymore because I took Cage Match off.
Okay.
So I think we should probably watch the pay-per-view matches, right? So I think it's because we're getting to the McCool Divas Doom feud because Beth's still hurt, I think. So it's just Natty versus McCool for a little bit. I know. But then Beth comes in, and then they actually have some so
tables match.
Yep, they have the tables match. They also have a 12.5. Beth Phoenix and Kelly wrestle McCool for 12.5 minutes on a Superstars episode. We're watching the fuck out of that. They get 12.5 minutes on Superstars.
That's insane. They really get 12 minutes now.
And then the Divas of Doom have a 9.5 minute match and a rematch after the SmackDown after the tables match. They have McCool and Divas of Doom have a 9.5 minute match. This is sad. Like this, that's a big deal.
Has there been a 9.5 women's match? 9.5 minute women's match on Dark Elevation. Can anybody answer me that in the comments, please?
Actually, I don't know that. I have no clue. Yeah, because Superstars was literally the equivalent of that, and they had a 12.5 minute match.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Superstars is going to have a lot of fun matches, actually, because that's kind of when it wasn't on TV. So they just kind of, well, actually, at the time it was on TV, but only for a few more months. It was on WGN America.
And it was on Hulu.
Yep.
It's basically main event.
Yes, essentially. Excuse me. Let's see. So we've got so the Hell in a Cell match, I believe, is Michelle and Natty. I think that's right. I don't know if you've got something up to confirm, but so we'll definitely watch that next. And then I think we should each pick. How many matches do we want to watch? 3 total. That's
3
fine.
sounds good. Yeah,
So
Hell in a Cell
I'll let you
2010.
pick one, and then I'll pick one.
Okay. What is
So,
it in Instagram?
Again, live production meeting on the air. So
Hold on, let me write this down.
in typical Grin fashion.
I want a Kelly match around this time.
Just to remind you, AJ and Naomi are having matches on NXT.
Oh, then we're picking an NXT match.
Okay.
That's my pick then.
Okay. Well, it depends on. Well, hold on. Let me see if I can find where I. This might take a minute.
Season 3, November 24th, 2010.
Okay. See if you can find something in early October instead.
Okay.
Just because I'm trying to go a little bit more chronological.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I should probably try to fill airtime. I will not be singing the Maurice song in English to fill airtime.
I probably shouldn't have done that.
That's fine.
Let me see. Mm-hmm.
I probably shouldn't have confessed my 16-year-old love for Layla also.
Oh God. We can watch Vicky Guerrero versus Caitlyn. Vicky Guerrero has Dolph Ziggler. We're not watching that. I'm not doing that to myself.
Yeah, don't do that. You have one match here. Don't make us do that. That's cruel. We're trying to be find the.
Oh, Naomi and Kelly versus the Bellas.
What's the date on that?
10/19.
Okay, that works. Okay. That's perfect. Make sure that's the date that it airs. Is it NXT?
Yep.
Okay, and that's probably was it on .com or is it actually on the Sci-Fi?
.com.
It doesn't matter because it'll be yeah there we go. Yep, Bella's and Kelly and Naomi, perfect. Let's see what I'm gonna throw into the mix here. Ooh, perfect. I know exactly what we're watching. The Kelly Layla singles match from Superstars. It goes about 5 minutes.
Okay.
You know me, my work rate nerddom. Gotta see if there's anything worthwhile there. And that's the October 14th, 2010 Superstars. That should be on YouTube. That match will probably be on YouTube because I don't think they have the. I just went blank. Wow.
Wow.
I don't think they have. Do they have the first 3 years of Superstars on the network? Peacock. It might work better if people don't have Peacock anyways to have the. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I
think Hulu still has Superstars movie. Let me see.
All of them?
I don't think it's all of them. Let me see though. Oh, it looks like it still is on Hulu. What?
Oh wow.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It has 5 through 7. Yep. 5 through 7.
Okay.
Oh my God, I just saw Bully Ray's head.
Ugh. Gross. But so here are the matches that we'll be covering next time on Divas Deep Dive. Be for the unified WWE Divas title, Hell in a Cell 2010. Michelle McCool defending against Natalya. The second match we will be covering will be Kelly versus Layla on Superstars, the October 14th, 2010 episode of Superstars. October 14th, 2010 episode of Superstars, Kelly versus Layla. Mm-hmm. And the final match will be the October 19th episode of NXT Season 3 with the Bella Twins against Kelly and Naomi.
This is going to be bad.
So, oh yeah, it's going to be So that's what we've got coming down the pipeline, and hopefully in the next 1 to 3 weeks, roughly.
Yeah, something like that.
somewhere around in there. In the next couple weeks, we'll get to the second episode. After let's see. Yeah, 1 to 3 weeks, that works. This is going to be an interesting project that we will power through bravely. I actually think we'll find some good stuff as we go through. I think we're smart to be a little bit selective about stuff. Once again, the classic butterfly. But this was
I'm
a
gonna
fun
hold my
show.
belt like Ivory.
What's that?
Ivory, doesn't she hold when she had the belt? She would hold it like this,
Oh
and she would
yeah, she
walk.
would hold it like a Mm-hmm. Yeah, she would.
I cannot believe I remember that.
This has been a fun show. I have said a lot of buts and ums.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's true. Jaychele picked up all my poor slack. Everybody tell Joe Holbert he's wonderful and he's awesome. And we will be back for the late night grin tomorrow. I think they're doing an early grin at 8:00 tomorrow.
Oh, I like
On the
that.
paywall. I think, I don't know. That could be changed or rearranged. That's not confirmed.
I would like to sleep.
Do not pay attention to that.
No, go petition for that. Petition for an early grin.
I will try to make it on there. I'm going to my parents for Easter weekend. It'll be several people in my parents' home, including my brother and his girlfriend. I may not find a place to do podcasting. I will try to be on for a little while. Everybody have a good weekend. Jaychele,
I have
anything
no
to
final
plug?
words. You guys can follow me on Twitter. It's the same people that I watch every show. You guys know my Twitter by now, and you probably follow me.
Awesome. All right. Well,
enjoy the outro. Fuck. Same thing.
bye everybody.
Bye, guys.